You want to know what I'm tired of? And that is people using the name Conor McGregor as a way to give themselves 10 extra seconds of time on the internet. And what's the thing that they always talk about? What's their go-to, right? It's, oh, Conor McGregor loves to punch old people. Why don't you come and fight me? And I understand that McGregor put himself in that situation, okay? I'm not saying it's okay for him to go around knocking out old people. Don't misconstrue me here for a moment. I think that we all have the moral code of an understanding that it was wrong, that attacking elderly people in a bar or wherever is wrong, okay? And the thing, though, that gets me, all right, is that while he put himself in this position and while what he did was wrong, is most of these fighters are basically attempting to take a heroic stance when the truth of the matter is they are hoping that McGregor bites on the bait so that way they can take the fight and get themselves a huge payday, because they understand that fighting McGregor still has a high payday ceiling. That's just the real reality of it. I mean, come on, we had Logan Paul calling out Conor McGregor, right? Logan Paul is getting ready for a pro bout with KSI, okay? Which, by the way, is taking place at Staples Center. And really quick, another side note, I will give Logan Paul this. I saw the interview. He carried himself very much like a fighter. I was actually very impressed with his demeanor, his tone, his confidence. But, of course, he was asked, hey, who should Conor McGregor fight next? And he said, me. And I'm not kidding. And, of course, his validation was he likes to punch old people. Ben Askren also recently called Conor McGregor's name, which he's been trolling McGregor all over the internet. And but he admitted on Ariel Helwani's program, what was it, yesterday, that he just likes trolling Conor McGregor. He likes to do it. Why does he like to do it? Because he's giving himself a little bit of fame. And look, I know a lot of people are probably going to hear that and they're going to go, well, dude, it's kind of tit for tat, don't you think? And I'm not going to disagree with that sentiment. McGregor himself has been kind of a troll. So I'm not going to say what's good for the goose is good for the gander. I mean, I'm not going to say that, pardon me. But, I mean, sometimes what goes around comes around, right? Here's my thing, though. We've probably had, in the time that McGregor has been gone, 10 to 15 different people say that they would love to fight Conor McGregor. I mean, it was going on even before that incident happened in the bar. I mean, you had Tyrone Woodley calling Conor McGregor a bitch. As funny as that is, because, I did get a really good chuckle out of that, all right? As funny as that is, why, bro? I mean, Tyrone Woodley is one of those people that doesn't need the relevance. I mean, we could look at Nate Diaz. He basically waited 3 years to get another fight with McGregor. And he was following McGregor doing everything that he was doing, right? McGregor said he was going to retire. Nate Diaz said he was going to retire. Conor McGregor said he was going to fight Floyd Mayweather. What happened? Nate Diaz puts out a deal where he's in the boxing gym and he's talking about getting his boxing license in California or Vegas. Okay? McGregor says he's going to come back. Nate Diaz says he wants to fight. Nate Diaz says he won't fight McGregor for less than $20 million. Nate Diaz didn't fight for 3 years and was turning down fights simply because he was waiting on McGregor, and I think he finally got to a point where he said, I really probably need to take a fight now. Granted, he won, but let's be honest. Nate Diaz and a lot of other fighters don't want to admit to this, but they want to be the rock star that Conor McGregor is. But here's the scenario, though, or what a lot of people don't understand, is that riding somebody else's coattails doesn't put you in their position. It doesn't even make you like them at all, really. You see, there are a lot of people that have always wanted to be somebody else. I always felt deep down that The Rock was kind of a wannabe Elvis. I think what separated him and Stone Cold Steve Austin was Austin felt authentic. Just a guy from Texas, man. Lace up his boots and go out there and wrestle, and that was kind of the deal, right? That was his whole shtick. And it worked because it felt like it was him. The Rock was more flashy, flamboyant. I think a part of that was him, a part of it wasn't. And what I'm alluding to here is personalities can collide, and you can see similarities in other people, but the very real reality of it is there's only one Steve Austin. There's only one Rock. There's only one Elvis. There's only one McGregor. There was only one Ali. It's just what it boils down to. And what we don't understand is that these people do not come around all of the time. People like them are not just there around the corner with their personalities and their abilities to back up things that they say. You know, I've interviewed fight promoters before, and one of them told me that he felt that the reason why people a lot of times didn't act like a McGregor is because they were afraid to take a loss when it came to boxing. He was talking about how in the UFC you could talk about it and take a loss, but then you can come back and fight the same person again, and the next fight be even bigger. There are differences, and I think a lot of MMA fighters are kind of beginning to understand what it takes to market themselves a little bit better, but that's essentially what all this is becoming now, is market strategy, and that is why you're saying the name McGregor. It has nothing to do with being a hero. It has nothing to do with philanthropy. It has nothing to do with philosophy on life. It has nothing to do with anything else other than a payday. You can spin it how you want to the public to make sure that you're put in the hero role scenario, because, you know, every fight, it seems like anymore, you have to have a good guy and you have to have a villain for some odd reason, instead of just two guys who are badasses going out there and laying it all on the line when it's mano a mano inside of the cage. For some odd reason, there has to be an angle, and I've never viewed fighting that way. Sure, a lot of this stuff is entertaining, but, you know, look at Khabib. Does that guy take angles? Does that guy take shots? Does that guy? No. When he gets asked about McGregor, he is direct about how he feels about it, and he pretty much has moved on. There was a time when he said, yeah, McGregor's going to be one of 3 fights, but understand, it looks like that Ferguson-Khabib fight is going to happen. And so that would mean he's already taken 2. McGregor has taken none. And I've always said that McGregor needs a tune-up fight to get back to the championship, and not just a tune-up fight, but a fight that is of somebody, you know, caliber style of fighter, right, is what he's going to need in order to be able to consider to be back in contention. And I think, honestly, he needs at least 2 of them. Because I'm going to tell you something. If Dana White, for any reason whatsoever, decides, yeah, McGregor's going to get a shot, boy, I'm telling you what, there's going to be backlash. And, yeah, the pay-per-view buy rates would be insane. But if McGregor were to lose, not only would McGregor be done, but that would be exceptional. That would be a devastating blow for the UFC. I mean, devastating. Because you do not want this guy who's been calling all the shots to call another shot only to lose, especially given all the stuff that's happened outside of his sport that directly involves himself. If he wins, great. But how many of us really believe that he can come back and beat Khabib? Now, I understand he came back to beat Nate Diaz, but Diaz and Khabib are 2 totally different athletes. And I'm not taking anything away from Diaz, but I'm telling you right now, if Khabib and Diaz were to fight, I would bet my money on Khabib. And when McGregor and Khabib fought the first time, it was the first time that I had predicted a McGregor loss. Khabib's strategy is insane, and he is the best at what he does. And he is undefeated for a reason. That guy flew under the radar for a long time, and it took all this nonsense with McGregor to make him relevant, which really was an awful scenario to watch. And I think that's why a lot of fighters are taking this angle, because they're trying to make people see what they do and get money, especially with some of these guys that are getting into their, 25th and 30th fight. It's kind of that point where I know I can't do this much longer. I need something huge to sustain me. And look, I get it. You got to get your money. I'm not mad at you, bro. But what I'm saying is be honest about it. If you really, truly want to fight McGregor because you don't like the fact that he's going around and doing things in bars to elderly people, then okay, take the Rickson Gracie approach, because the late Rickson Gracie would show up to gyms And you guys would get it on right there. No TV, no cameras, no nothing. No money's going to be made. It's just right there in a gym. Gym to gym, man to man, set a couple rules, let's go. Those kinds of things really happen. People would show up at Rick's and Gracie's gym. You have to understand that these people would fly across the world to make this stuff happen with no cameras and no TVs. If that's how you really feel about it, trust me, there is a way to handle it that's off camera. And it's been done before. It's not brand new. That's what I'm saying. So be honest. It's still about the money with McGregor. And I think that we're all wise enough to understand that. Guys, I am Drew Duncan, host of the Full Court Press. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram is all at Drew Duncan 83. You can find me on YouTube. Simply look for Drew Duncan. The Full Court Press is on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as well. Do not forget that you can listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts via iHeart, Spreaker, Spotify, etc. Tell your device to play the Full Court Press by Drew Duncan. And as always, don't you dare touch that dial.